Hello, Blues, and welcome to Inside the Tower. Today, I'll be discussing transfer deals. We're going to look at all the information that's put across social media and how true is it. We're also going to look at information that's leaked and why it's leaked and who leaks it and what benefit that has. But we're going to start with the sports broadcasters because we get asked a number of questions about when a player's about to sign for us. We get a lot of people saying, well, there's nothing on Sky Sports, there's nothing on any other broadcast channel. And I don't believe it until Sky Sports break it, and I'm not going to believe it until Everton release the information or the player's got the shirt and he's holding it up. And I can totally agree with everyone there because we've been burnt before in the past. There's so much fake news out there and we get our hopes up about a player and it never happens. So I can totally understand why people would not want to believe what is out there across social media. So we'll start with Sky Sports News. There's other TV sports broadcasting channels and stations out there, but we'll use them as the example because that's majority of people ask us why it's not on Sky Sports News and they haven't broke it. There's a couple of reasons why they seem to be a little bit late in breaking this news. It's due to legal regulations and guidelines that they have to follow. They're a mainstream TV sports broadcasting station, and they have to follow a set of guidelines that they can't break, whereas social media accounts can break news with little ramification. And if Sky Sports News, for example, were to break a transfer that hadn't officially been announced by the club and they break the news saying he signed 2 or 3 days before it was greenlit by the club, they could face serious legal consequences because it'd be classed as fake news. Sky Sports News and other TV sports broadcasting channels are regulated. They have to wait for the official confirmation from the club or official sources, and then they can break the news. Because if they were to give it out, it's classed as fake news. It could damage their reputation, the player's reputation, and both the selling and buying club. I don't want to go too deep into it because it can affect markets and the betting side of things. And it also affects, especially if a player's coming from another country where he's got certain sponsorship deals with certain brands. If they're going to sign for a new club, they have to have a clause in their contract called the breakaway clause where they can break away from that contract as and when another club signs them. So it can get very complicated, and if Sky Sports were to share the information of a player signing long before it was officially announced, they could find themselves in hot water. So that's what I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Let's talk about transfer deals. Now, I've mentioned a lot of time to people that deals are often done and dusted long before it's even announced by the club and Sky Sports, which I've just touched on. But basically, what tends to happen when a player, other than transfer deadline day, that's a different kettle of fish. We'll probably do a podcast on that, and we'll talk about that separately on transfer deadline day.
Here we go, the deal is done.
When a club wants a player, what happens is the representatives from that club will go to the player's agent and discuss and talk about how the club's interested in and start negotiating a deal for the player. Yes, it's called tapping up. It's gone on for years and it's never going to change. This is how deals are done. It's all done behind the club's back. The agent is not interested in the buying club or the selling club. All he's interested is getting the best deal for his player, and that's what he will do as an agent because he gets a bigger cut. Depending on what his percentage is he gets from a deal. He'll then go and speak to his player and say, listen, such and such a club are interested. Would you be interested in signing for them? This is the deal they're sort of offering. Be a bit of negotiation. The player will say yes, verbally agree to join that club, and then it's up to the two clubs then to thrash out a deal. Meanwhile, no one knows this is going on, except information is leaked here and there, and we'll talk about that after this little bit about the transfer deals. It's all done and dusted. Once the two clubs agree, in principle, they can still negotiate on the price. While that's going on, what the club will do then, it will request all the medical records from the player's club, and they will be sent across, emailed across. The buying club will look at all these medical records and make sure everything's good. There's no red flags. Now, if there's a few issues on there, what will tend to happen, the player will go and see a specialist. They will double check say he's got a knee injury or he's had a knee injury in the past and it's a bit of a red flag. They will check that knee injury. That'll be signed off. The buying club will be happy and they're all good to go. If there's no red flags, it's simple. They'll have a read through all the medical files. This will be every club this player has played for. and they will look through all that and make sure everything's okay. So when he does come to do the run-ups at the club, they'll have all the information ready. So the player can then sign a contract with the club. He can agree all the deal in principle. Once the two clubs have agreed a fee and it's all done and dusted, then it's all the media side. Now, at this point, this information may be out there and people may share it on their social media channels and pages, and it's up to people whether they believe them or not. But at this point, Sky Sports News and other broadcasters cannot share that information for obvious reasons, what I've touched on before. So this deal could be done weeks before it's officially announced by the buying club. He will then sign his insurance documents. So their players are insured by the Premier League, and it's a Premier League care package, and they have to sign that, and they have to be registered at the club they're signing for before they can get insured, and they have to have done a medical before they can sign the insurance documents. And a lot of this is done before any announcements made. Hence why certain channels can share that and say it's a done deal, because they know this information. And that's how things tend to usually work out on deals. Then we have to wait. Some deals take longer than others. We have to wait for the club to book in all the media side of things, photo shoots, interviews, and having all that media set aside. They have to book in a day when they can do it, when it's convenient for everyone. It all gets done and dusted. Once that's all done, then they have to process the images, edited the footage, get everything streamlined, and then it goes out and the club announce it, and then you'll have days and days of media coming out onto the social media channels of the buying club. That's how usually deals work. There's loads of different ways deals can happen. Now we'll move on to the information that's shared out there, false information, leaks of things happening, and why these things happen. So this player is wanting to move from this club. The only way to sort of generate this move would be speaking to his agent, saying, listen, there's only clubs interested in me, I want to move on. So the agent will do what the agent's there to do, look after his player. They will share information out via a third party, and it will go out and it'll explode on social media that certain clubs are looking to buy his player. It's totally false. All it does is ramp up his price, gets other clubs interested who may be interested, who were never interested in the player before, but because their rivals are looking at him, they want to get him before they get him. And this is how deals sometimes work, and how information is generated and traction is generated about a player. Now, all that information the agents put out there is false, right? It's just to get the best deal for his player. Sometimes this happens and the player is at the club, and then the club will offer him a new deal just to prevent any other club buying him. But the information was false to start with. So it's the agent doing what an agent does and getting the best deal for his player. Now, sometimes clubs won't admit it, but they will put false information out there. Why would a club put information out there, false information via a third party? Because they want to sell a player. They can't get him off the books. So they'll generate fake stories. This can be by any means possible. It could be via fake stories in the press and the newspapers to generate more views on this player that would otherwise not be looked at. And when they generate enough traction about this player, certain clubs start looking and go, oh, then they start bidding more. They might put some fake information that a club in Europe is looking to buy him for 50 million. That's never happened. It's just fake information. And then another club will come in and say, we want him for 60. The club's done some smart business because they just generate fake stories to sell their player. This is what happens in football. Okay, there's a lot of fake information that gets put out there to generate more money for an agent, more money for a player, more money for a club. And this goes on every single day. So when stories go out there and you hear a lot of people then sharing it, and if Fabrizio Romano's done it recently, and we'll use the example of Tete, the Fulham defender, who was offered a 3-year deal at Everton. That is a fact. And that was out there from one of the most reliable people out there with transfer deals. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, Fulham have offered him a better deal to secure his services. Again, that's the agent probably feeding information, it's general information that Everton did offer a 3-year deal. But generally, in the past, things like that would have been kept quiet. No one would have knew about it. Everton would have got the player and everyone would have been happy. But you release that information for everyone to see. Fulham then go, okay, we need to give him a better deal. So that's why certain information is leaked to generate stories, to generate more funds for a club, player or agent. And that's just the way of football. Thanks for watching, Blues. Join us again when me, Adam and Liam and Rich will be discussing everything Everton and Inside the Tower next week. Again, like and subscribe to the videos, keep following us, and again, thank you for watching.